Hey, Tom Nelson here with the Outdoor Line on 710 ESPN Seattle and the Canon Pro staff. Here to talk to you about what I think is the most important feature of the Canon Digi-Troll 10 STX downrigger, and that's bottom track. When you add a transducer to this downrigger, what you get is a feature that has been responsible for more fish hitting the deck of this boat than any other I can think of. Basically what bottom track does is, through use of a transducer, keeps your downrigger ball a set distance off the bottom. Now here we're on the west coast, when we're targeting Chinook, keeping your gear close to the bottom means you're keeping your gear near to the bait, and that's where the Chinook are going to be found. So basically we need to set 3 parameters in order for bottom track to work. That's going to be maximum depth of the rigger to bottom track, it's going to be distance off bottom, and it's going to be sensitivity. Let's look at the display on how these 3 features are set and how you can put them to work for you to catch more fish. So when we first turn on our downrigger, we see sonar depth on the home screen, and that's going to tell us, yeah, we have a transducer hooked up, and that's wonderful. So we're going to get the menu button, and the first thing we see is max bottom. That tells us the distance, the depth that we're going to track bottom, maximum depth, and that's important. So and then we press the select key, and we see distance off bottom. As we roll that down, now we can get close to the business end of our fishing range. We can even go into negative numbers, and that's going to count for blowback and keep the ball very, very close to the bottom. We hit select a final time to get to the sensitivity part of the menu. That's the distance that the ball will react to when bottom changes. So once again, we hit menu, sensitivity, hit the select button, gives us max bottom, hit the select button, distance off bottom, and that's the part of the menu that I leave the downrigger on to go ahead and change. That's the feature we're going to change more often, is the distance off bottom. One more thing I want you to consider when we're using the bottom track function on our Canon Digi-Troll 10s, and that is the realization that we need to have our reels and the rigger work together. And here's how that works. When the downrigger gets deeper, we want to set our drags so that your reel will automatically let line out as we get deeper. To accommodate that, we need to use offshore red double spring releases instead of the offshore black medium tension single spring releases. By using the red offshore double spring, you've got a release that's going to be strong enough to pull drag tension off your reel and let your gear get deeper, and do so hands-free. Then all we need to do is, when we start getting shallower, is we just go back and reel up on our reels to keep that tension. That's your dirty downrigging trick, and that's how you're going to be able to bottom track your way into a lot more fish when fishing close to the bottom.